Just what are we doing? What's our podcast? I don't know.
Well, we got some fan questions today, Hav. And I noticed
What kind of question?
Well,
I
first
love your hairdo. Big.
Yeah, I'm trying to get that 80s look back, man. Trying to get retro.
Yeah.
People are texting you. They want more. Those must be more fan questions coming in.
Yeah, more fan questions. Keep talking.
So you're right now. You get a couple guys you're training. You got Umar, who's got a fight coming up, UFC. He's on the Connor card, right?
Uh-huh.
And then a couple guys fighting on the EFC, which is Habib's new promotion.
Eagles Fighting Championship. Yes. The now president of Eagles EFC is Shamil. He's the main event, and this is his farewell fight. And he's gonna go out in style and come out with a huge giant victory. And then he's gonna head the EFC for Habib, which is gonna be a global show. It's gonna be a monster show. It's in the Middle East for the majority part, Russia, Middle East, and all these areas. But with the huge name that you have, like Habib, and the great status that he has with everybody. I mean, it's it's like anything. If you think about it, right? You got all these famous all these famous boxers, Oscar De La Hoya, anything like that. If you have a famous name already, you start in the promotion business, you have a big head start over anybody that starts from scratch. Habib just happens to be one of the biggest recognizable stars in the world, and now he's got an organization that is getting a lot of attention. All eyes are on the eagle, I guess you could say, right?
Oh, yeah.
All eyes on the eagle.
All eyes on the eagle. There you go. That's the new name of our podcast. No, I'm kidding.
No, all eyes on your hair, dude. Look at your hair.
Hey, what's up with that hair, man?
No, bro.
Danny Terrio.
You're looking pretty cool there.
I'm trying. Next time it's going to be up to here. I'm going for the Don.
You got the Fonzie hairdo.
We're working on it, man. My hair got bigger and you got slimmer. So that's what's happened.
I ain't get slimmer.
Weight. I can tell in the pictures. You lost a few pounds.
You can tell in pictures. I don't know. I didn't gain weight. I've been having, honestly, I swear to you, some days I have 2 whole pizzas a day, pepperoni pizzas, 2 or 3 Cokes, and the other days I don't. Like today, I just got through in beautiful Dubai, and I must say it's beautiful. The weather is unbelievable. The hospitality, the choices of food, the just what you can do here. I mean, my gosh, if I'm at home, I'm going to be in lockdown. I can't go nowhere to eat. I can't do nothing. Over here, they take precaution everywhere they can. Everybody gets tested quite a bit, and it's there's no coronavirus like major spread like anywhere else. And the vast majority of Abu Dhabi, if I'm not mistaken, most of those guys have been vaccinated, because it's been like 5 weeks since I've had my last vaccination, and about 3 weeks since they cleared me, and I passed the level really high. So, for now, I'm immune to it until a point where my blood levels get lower, and then the immune system, I'm probably going to have to get another shot again at some point. But over here is really cool. So I'm in a good spot.
Well, I saw you out. You had some Mexican dancing, I believe that was, or was that Spanish? I saw that in your Instagram.
No. Mexico at Tulum's at Dubai Mall. Dubai Mall at Tulum's at Dubai Mall. The manager, I kind of first time in my life, I kind of used my status to. They told me I went up there and they said, "Oh no, we're sold out. We know now we're longer wait, right?" And someone just said, "Do you know who you are?" I go, "I'm just a normal person." No, tell him you want to speak to the manager. Go, why? I go, just tell him you want to speak to the manager. Okay, fine. All right. Excuse me, can I speak to the manager? Okay. Yeah, and I go, as soon as I came, he knew who I was. He knew who I was. He said, "Oh, yeah, no." I go, I was looking at, yeah, no problem. Put me right out front, bro. I was like, wow, that's what must feel like to be Len Dempsey. I'm like, man, I don't know what the hell.
I use your name. Wow. I get discounts at the store. I get discounts on things, It works.
Yeah.
It works.
I was like, here I am. I'm like, man, I know what you've been going through your whole life.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, wow.
Now you feel
And
it. You've been like, why don't I use my
yeah,
own name? Why don't I?
they ask you, Mr. Dempsey, would you like us to sing a couple of songs for you? I go, sure, go, let's sing. So they started singing for me and had the girls dancing and the singers. I mean, man, like at Tulum's at the Dubai Mall. Yeah, yeah. Thanks. I use you, your name, and so it worked. It worked.
Anything I can do, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it
I had to
works.
wait a whole hour. It was a whole hour, which normally I wouldn't mind, but in this particular case, I was a little hungry.
You've been away from, you're not always, nailing all the Mexican food back home, but you got to mix it up sometimes. I mean, how much do you eat it when you're back in California?
Hardly ever.
Except when the guys.
Flame, Flames day in, day out. Everybody, yeah. Mr. Flame, Bob Flames. That's my joint, the Flames restaurant.
Yeah.
Right across the street from the gym. You ate there how many times with me? All the time.
Oh, geez, probably 50. But the only time I saw you eat Mexican is when, Carlos's brother brought the food truck by and it's the border of Mexico. And it's like, boom. Well, you're like, well, it's here. Okay.
Yeah, it's here. Might as well. They brought the food truck here. They brought the food to us. And actually, the food truck was really good. Carlos's brother, fruit juice boy, they got some good things going there with that food truck with the tacos and everything. And I think they're mobile everywhere, aren't they? I thought.
Yeah, he's done well. I mean, he's done everything to keep it safe and get people to come through in San Jose. I mean, I've left since then, but he was doing a good job. He had masks for people. He was doing good stuff. He was very professional, thinking about how he could better help people get food and, didn't gouge people on prices. So, I guess that was.
No one wants to hear about that stuff anymore. Let's talk about what people hear about. Chingazos.
Oh, I want to do something different on this podcast. I found a video of you.
Want to throw chingazos at me?
Of course. I got something for you, Ab.
So I'll hit you and lift your hair higher.
I believe you. And this is what I got to share with you.
Oh, no.
Do you remember this fight? Do you remember this fight?
We were pretend fighters. We wore shin guards for fighting because full contact. We didn't kick below the waist, and that's Conrad Pla, and he's a famous actor now. He's in the Canadian. I've seen him in actually quite a few movies. He's in not reality shows. I'm sorry. He plays in series and whatnot. I've seen him quite a bit. Yeah, Conrad Pla.
Well, this was for the lightweight title, I believe. Right. This is the fourth round. I put the fourth round in. Right.
Yes.
Well, so it's like there's a lot of coaches, but did they fight? And you used to fight. This was the big show back then. Now the big show has evolved and become something else, but this is the foundation, right?
Well, hey, listen, that was the big show, as you call it.
Right.
But the big show then only paid me $5,000 to defend the title. Wow. So much money. Yeah, I was rich. Yeah, after I fight, I end up having to spend it all on training and coaches. And, I used to pay 20% to my coaches, 10% for each one of them. So there's the $1,000 and I got $4,000, big whopping dollars, so yeah.
You weren't going out and buying a Cadillac with that. So you guys.
Oh, no, sure. I had all kinds of cars and everything. Yeah.
Well, It looks like you guys went 10 rounds here. That's different than UFC.
If I'm not mistaken, was it 10 round?
Yeah, it says round 10. Round 10.
Oh, I thought we did 12 rounds, but okay, all right. There goes how long ago it was.
Maybe it was 12 rounds. Actually, there's more video here, but
yeah, because I thought we went 12 rounds, but we're 2-minute rounds. But I thought we went 12.
I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit because the thing is, you started closing.
Who's showing this shit?
You started closing it at the end.
Close it out. This stuff's weak, bro. No one wants to see it.
This is the part I want to see.
What part?
Yeah, this part.
That part?
That's the part I want to see. This is something that's a very common theme in your life.
You see that long hair? You see that? Tong Po. Bo Low. But I don't look like Bo Low.
So that was one of your fights, man. We were going back in the time machine. Some people like to rewatch their stuff. You've moved on. Some guy, right?
That's. Hey, my kids don't want to watch it. So if my kids don't want to watch it, I mean, I've seen it. I've lived it. I've experienced it. I'll never watch it again. I don't care to watch it. I've critiqued myself too much. I'm watching it as it is, and I'm going, well, look, I got love handles. And I'm going, wait a minute, take your shirt off now and see what you got.
Right. You're like, man, I had it made. I didn't know I had it. Like, so since you went after my hair, I had to bring up the video and show some of your hair, but we're good.
Yeah, had to mess me up, right? You did that. Yeah. Thanks a lot, buddy.
How are things going? Looks like you get a full team and, training guys for this upcoming fight. You get some new guys you're working with for the Eagle Fight Championship?
Yeah, the Team Eagle with Habib's team, he's got so many fighters, so many great up and coming guys, so many guys we never even heard of. So on this one here, yeah, they just showed up yesterday, and we trained yesterday and we trained today. I work with them. I'm the head coach for his guys when they come, and he's coming either tomorrow or the next day, and then he's joining with me. And yeah, no, it's their family. We're here. I'm here to work. And I stayed. I was gonna go home, but they shut down California, so there was no point in me going home. So I stayed here. I had to bear to stay in Dubai, beautiful Dubai, and all the luxuries of Dubai.
So hard.
Going great home, where the lockdown's happening. So I had to buckle down, bro. I had to stay. And yeah.
Well, it looks like you did okay with it. I know all I hear is negative stuff in California.
I said buckling, have to stay here. Yeah, beautiful Dubai. My beautiful view of watching the racetrack with all the horses when they're running. Yeah, it's a horrible thing to be put through, So yeah. So now it's the fun part. Now it's really fun. I have all the guys here: Islam Makhachev, Umar, Habib's cousin, Ushman, his cousin, and so many other guys. Abukar is Manap, which I call gangster, Dagestan gangster, is my favorite. And then Islam Abadov was another one of my favorites. Actually, man, they're all my favorites. Like there's not too many of those guys. I can't really say one without all of them. Like Islam Makhachev, who I believe in my heart is going to be the next UFC champion at some point, the lightweight. I believe maybe within 2 or maybe 3 fights or so. When people realize how good this guy is and he gets the opportunity to fight for the title, don't be shocked. Another Dagestan lightweight UFC champion, Islam Makhachev.
Well, that's interesting because that leads into our fan questions.
What is the fan question?
I'm about to pull the fan questions up. The people were asking about him because they want to know. They want to know, how good is this guy? So let's see. Here's the question I got. This is I'm going to ask you one of these first questions, Hav. This is from Osama Mrs. Abigail. Number 1, how do you see the matchup between Habib and Charles Oliveira?
I don't see it because the likelihood of that match happening is probably never,
right?
Ever,
right?
So I can't really go into what never happened.
I guess it's a hypothetical, right? Because I mean,
hypothetical.
Yeah.
A hypothetical. I see Habib taking him down, smashing him, and that's it.
That's the end.
Can't stop the takedown. He's done.
Well, it looks like they snuck in a couple more questions. This one's easy.
And that's the bottom line. That's the truth. You can believe me or not believe me. If he can't stop the takedown, he's done. I don't care who you are. In the lightweight division, you cannot stop the takedown from Habib. You're done. Simple as that.
That's how it works.
It's that simple. Whether you like me, whether you don't like me, I'm just telling the truth. If you cannot stop the takedown, you're done.
Here's a question. Do you miss coaching any fighter?
Cain Velasquez.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You used to love waking up for that one, meeting him at the gym just to see what he could do?
He excited me. I had a bond with him. I still have a bond with him. Cain Velasquez.
Still on the same question person, they have great questions. What's the best and worst things that happened to you in 2020?
The best thing that's ever happened to me?
Mm-hmm.
We're still a team. We're still Team Eagle, Team AKA. The worst thing, many worse things, but the worst of all was losing friends, Habib's father. And I'll try not to talk too much about that because it tears me up. So
I understand.
Let's just skip that one. It tears me up every time.
Okay. This one's from Marco Rossi. Coach, Given that your team, Habib Islam, and the other guys have a very unique grappling style in MMA, have you ever thought about releasing an instructional video about the MMA grappling or encourage them to make one? I think it would sell like crazy. Yeah.
I think you're correct. I think it will sell monstrous, especially if Habib's leading it, especially if Habib does it. I think it would be the biggest seller of all time, 100%, because you're getting it from the best of all time. You're getting it from somebody that's proven his method works. You're getting it from somebody that you can respect. Every person that knows Habib, has seen Habib, has followed his career, can do nothing but love Habib. And if you hate Habib, you hate him because he's that good, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, listen, there's some guys that were champions that won a couple of times and then they opened a whole school around it, like Hoist Gracie, but he didn't do the longevity of Habib and fight that many fights in a row. They did great though. I'm not hating him, but
Hoist Gracie's a legend, bro. Without Hoist Gracie, we wouldn't be here. So
without the Gracies, we wouldn't have a sport.
We wouldn't have a sport. So to me, Hoist Gracie will always be a legend. And then anybody that knows Hoist Gracie is a true gentleman will always be a legend. Always be a legend, a pioneer. Without a Hoist Gracie, because the boyish look, the college-like student look, 180 pounds, beating these monsters in a traditional martial arts jiu-jitsu uniform, and he's destroying these monsters, proving that the Gracie system beats all. Dude, none of us would be here without the great work and the every effort that they did was just great, man. Nothing but love and respect for Gracie's.
I totally understand, Javier. So here's a question from NK. Why is it difficult for fighters to cut weight? What does cutting weight actually do? I think fighters should fight at the weight they should be.
Oh, I can probably agree with that. I mean, when I fought, I only lost 2 or 3 pounds, 2 or 3 pounds. I said, so me making weight was really just stop, don't eat one time. I walked around in the gym. I'd walk into the gym 183, 184 pounds. And I used to fight at 179. And but I'm not no weight cut expert. So I'm the wrong guy to give correct advice on weight cutting. As most fighters will tell you, they go, coach is never there. He's never there for the weight cut. So that's probably something that they probably don't like, because even though I'm never there, I think the fact if I do show up, not even doing anything, I think it would add inspiration for them to know that at least coach makes the effort to be here. But you know what I'm doing with those poor guys that cutting weight? I'm sleeping or something, and I wake up to, made weight or didn't make weight type thing. That's what happened the one time when Habib didn't make weight and he went to the hospital.
Yep.
I wake up to Earl Hawani telling me, what happened? What happened to Habib? And and I'm like, what are you talking about? You don't know? I go, no, what? It goes, as far as I know, everything's fine. No, he's in the hospital. I'm like going, oh, no. So yeah, I'm the wrong person for weight cutting. And if someone's going to slam me as a coach, that's a legit slam. It's a legit slam. Everybody that says coach isn't there for the weight cut, you know what? If you want to cuss me out, if you want to scold me, if you want to say I'm a piece of whatever, you know what? You have a good right. You have a good right and good reason, because the bottom line is I rarely ever have been to weight cuts.
Here's a question. From Some Solution. Will Habib have a professional boxing debut? Interesting question.
As far as I know, I don't know anything because I never spoke to Habib. When he made his speech, I didn't know. I didn't know anything. I was like everybody else. My mouth dropped. Huh? All I saw was my fighter in pain. I saw pain and I felt his pain. He all that emotion, everything he had came out. He was very emotional. And for me, I just, when I hugged him, I love you, cry, let it out. So let it out. And then he announces his retirement. Then it was my turn to cry.
Yeah, he's not telling you, yeah, guess what? I'm going to retire after this fight. It never happens.
No. I was like, hey, man, it's his life. It's like I always tell Habib, hey, listen, man, I go, whatever you do, you always have to know one thing. When you look to your right, your coach will be there for you. I'll always be there for you. So I'm not questioning him on nothing. Hey, he has a talk with Dana. Him and Dana have a workout. All he needs to say to me is, Coach, we're working out. Okay. Or he says, Coach, we're going to go eat. Okay.
Right.
I'm there. That's it. So for me, it's not for me. It's not my decision on anything regarding that. Only if he asks me, then I will say. If he doesn't ask me, I'm supporting him. So right now, all he's asked me is, can you please be the head coach for my guys for this particular event or that event? Absolutely. And that's what I am. You know, I take care of the guys, and it's my responsibility to take care of all of them. And that's what I'm doing when they're here. So if next time he asks me, hey, you know, Coach, prepare me for a boxing match. Okay, here we go. So can it happen? I don't know. Will it happen? I don't know.
Yeah,
You know?
I think people are just speculating on all the interesting stuff around
There's
these
good
celebrity
speculation
fights.
and everything, you know. I mean,
Right.
you know, Daniel Cormier gets asked all the time, and Daniel's always saying, well, there's one fight if he comes out. His father wanted him to be 30-0, and you know, it's the GSP fight. Well, yeah, I was there present when they did talk about that, but you know what happens on that? I don't know. Hey, Dana's got something cooking. You know that. You know, Dana's gonna have his talk with him. Everybody knows.
An offer you
It's
can't
an open
refuse.
book.
At least he thinks an offer you can't refuse. I'm going to give you
Who
this.
knows?
Right.
Who knows? You know,
Right.
I'm not saying nothing because I don't know. I
Right.
haven't talked to him about it, and I'm not gonna talk to him about it. That's between him and Dana. That ain't my business. I'm a coach. I accept whatever they do. You know, I don't tell you when to retire. I don't tell you when to fight. You ask me, then I'll tell you. You don't ask me, then guess what? If I'm not someone that's this close to you, hey, you go on your way. I never call you. You never call me. No problem. But if you're Habib, for my life, I'll always be calling you. For my whole life, I always know what you're doing. I always want to know. I always want to see how your family, how your kids are doing, how your wife's doing. For my whole life, I'm always going to want to know. But not everybody. I'm not going to be that with everybody. It's just the way it is, you know. You know, you can't. You know, I can't say, oh, I love all my fighters. I may care about all my fighters, but I don't love all my fighters. I got connected to some in particular ones, in particular my more famous ones that you know of. You know, not saying that there's others, but I'm just saying the ones that people know of. I'm very tight with DC, Cain Velasquez, Habib.
Right.
You know, very tight. Josh Thompson is another one. You know, I mean, there's more, but I'm just saying. You know,
Mike Swick.
Yeah, right. Mike Swick for definitely damn sure Mike Swick. Oh yeah, Mike Swick. But I'm just saying there's many, and then there's others that there's no connection, no call, no how you doing, coach, no nothing. And it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. They're still good people. But me, you know, we don't talk. You know, I mean, Kyle Kingsbury. I don't talk to him. He don't call me. I don't call him. You know, so it doesn't mean that he's not a great guy or a beautiful person. He is. He's a beautiful guy, but he's got his life. He's got his things. He's got his agenda. There's many more. You know. But again,
that's what happens when you coach hundreds of people. But I was going to bring back a point about retiring. Is like usually, like you told me, you never tell a guy when to retire, and you hope they realize when the time is right. Because if you tell them, they might think they have 5 more fights, and then you'll have a wedge between you. And so that's what's hard as a coach to pick the time.
I did. I've tried it too many times. I tried to get my guys to retire. It didn't work, not one time. They all got mad at me. You know, they all got mad at me. So now I kind of lead them around to thinking about maybe considering, you know, coaching or doing something of that nature. But I don't flat out just say you should retire to anybody anymore, period. You know, it doesn't work. For me, it's never worked. So I'm not going to spend my time with that. I'm not.
Right.
Not. It's a waste of my time. Move on. Do your thing.
It makes sense. And you know, as a coach and you have a bunch of people, you have a big team. One point, it's fantastic because there's so many diverse fighters to work with each other so they can get a lot of different looks. But at the same time, that's a lot of people. And then some people are maybe expecting more from you, but you can only give so much when it's, you know, spread across that many people. And then you have a champion that you're bringing to a camp. I'm just like looking back on how I used to see, you know, things would go back home at AKA.
Well, you know, the fact is the fact. This is the facts about Javier Mendez. You know, you want to know. If people tell you Javier Mendez is a greedy mother, blah, blah, blah. Nah. If people tell you Javier Mendez wants all the credit, he wants to take this, he wants to star. No. If people tell you Javier Mendez stabbed me behind my back. No. If people tell you Javier Mendez didn't give me enough attention, Javier Mendez didn't do this, didn't do that with my career, attention-wise, look into that, because there may be some seriousness and truth to that, because there's only so much of me and there's not many people I was able to do. There was a point there where I had so many fighters and I had people in high positions tell me, you can spend your time with these people that make us money, or you can spend time with these people that are just going to be there, good people, but they're not going to line the pocketbooks. We need you involved with the people that are going to produce, which keeps the machine going. So when you're put in that situation and you're told that, I mean, and realistically, if you got to feed your family and you got a machine to run, what do?
Right.
You donate your time, or if you're in that situation where you can help people achieve higher levels by your coaching, do you spend that time with those individuals, or do you spend your time with everybody, every single person that comes through that door? If you got 100 people and there's only 10 that are going to be in that money situation, and you're the one guy that's available, not the only guy that can do it, the only guy that's available, what do?
Right. You can
I
only
spend my time with 100 people?
Yeah. That's it. Any business, any sport. I mean, I'm sure all coaches of any other sport have the same situation. You know what I mean? It's like they run it from a little bit afar in some cases. Let's say a baseball coach, he's not always up on the pitcher per se. He tries to mix it up, but if the pitcher's the strong lead, he's going to lean on the pitcher, and then it's going to go outwards in small percentages to the other players.
Yeah.
They're there to do
one thing,
job, right?
Yeah. One thing you can never say about me is I never had time to talk to any of my fighters. Nope, that's not true. Right. It doesn't matter what level, amateur level, pro level, doesn't matter. Win, lose, rock. No, that's a no. I spent my time with every one of those guys. They needed my time, and it wasn't fighting related. Sometimes it was girlfriend related, family related, financial related. No, I made myself available for that. Yes. When it came to coaching, no, not one-on-one. What I'm talking about coaching, I'm not talking about team. You were there. You saw what I did with the team. I gave attention to every team member. I did what I was supposed to as a head coach. I didn't ignore anybody. Okay. Earlier on in my career, 10, 15 years ago, I did. I didn't pay much attention to the lower level. But as I learned, I got more compassionate, and I had more feelings for even the lowest of the low level ranking, not ability-wise, just ranking. So now everybody gets my full attention, but not my one-on-one. I only have so much time in the day where I can give one-on-one attention. So that's where I was talking about the 100 versus how many I can give of those 100.
Right. So there's a guy, he can get in the cage with one of your guys that are about to fight, one of your top guys. This might be a guy that hasn't made his way in or something, or mid-level, and he puts in a round against someone like Islam, and let's say Islam dominates him. Well, the upside of that is that was a plus for that guy, because he learned what it's like to go up against someone at a higher level. And then usually you'll pull that guy aside, said, you did this good, you did that good. So he still gets a lesson. He might not get an hour of focused strategic time out of you, but he's going to get something. That's what I observe as the camera.
Let me give you the facts, the real facts.
Right.
Okay. You can have the greatest coach in the world. Okay. You can be the greatest coach in the world, and you have no Islams, you have no Habibs, you have no John Fitches, you have no Mike Swicks, no Cain Velasquez, no DC Cormiers, no Luke Rockholds. You have none of those. You have a greatest coach, but you have none of that. Now you got the shittiest coach. Got a shitty ass coach, but you got Cain Velasquez, you got Islam Makhachev, you got Habib, you got Luke Rockhold, you got DC, you got Mike Swick, you got John Fitch, you got Josh Thompson. You have all these guys, the Kung Lees, you have all these great talent there. But you got the shittiest coach. Guess what you got?
You still got a winning team usually.
You got a best opportunity to win against the best coach and his shitty people.
Yeah, that does change the difference. It doesn't matter. I mean, you could have taken Michael Jordan and put him on a coach that had a losing record, and he would have changed the team by himself. Right? I mean, that easy math there, right?
When you are with iron, sharp iron. If you don't keep up with that iron, you're going to get too smashed. But eventually, if you keep trying, you'll get sharper and you'll get sharper and you'll get sharper. And before you know it, because you had Islam there, you had a Habib there who's beating you in, day out, even though you never beat him, but you got better every single time. You have a better edge than having the greatest coach on earth on the other side, who didn't have an Islam, who didn't have a Habib, who didn't have Luke Rockwell, didn't have Cain Velasquez, who didn't have any of the top talent. You have a better chance. And that's a fact.
Yeah.
So I always tell people, you want to get good, find a school that has great fighters.
Yeah.
Join the mix. You know, that's why do you think like people like Wink Jack, Albuquerque, ATT, Henry Hooft, all the great ones. Why are they always doing good? Because they rise to the top, because they have people that rise to the top. There's other gyms that I'm not mentioning. Duke Rufus. There's a lot of gyms out there. There's a lot. Matt Serra's gym, Ray Longo. There's a whole bunch. But if you're not with a gym like that, don't expect to rise to the top like that. It's very difficult. Very, very difficult. Randy Couture's, I can go on the great gym names that you should belong to. All I'm saying is, don't look for the coach as much as look for the talent. Then pay attention to the coach, but look for the talent, because that talent is who you're going to be training with, and they're going to make you better. And if they don't make you better, they'll beat you up so bad, you'll get so discouraged.
Yeah. Well, you being a top coach, I think you froze up there for a second.
Up at that level, anyways. You want to be at that level, you go in with that level.
What I think is interesting, though, Hav, is that since you've been there so many times, you've been there with champions, going in the ring, leaving as a champion, going in as a champion, leaving as a champion, becoming a champion. You've got to be there. You've got a very unique perspective by having so many. So that there's something to be learned. There's some value in that. Like you said, though, talent is talent. It does rise to the top. There's some guy probably training in a garage that we never heard of, kind of like Mirko Krokop back in the day, didn't even have sparring partners. Just went in and kicked the hell out of the bag and then went into Pride. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's stuff like that. Someone doing the Rocky workout, right?
There's stuff like that.
There's got to be. It was just sheer athleticism.
But having the Mirko Krokop with a bunch of killers earlier on, he would have been a bigger killer, straight up.
Right.
Straight up. Would have been a big killer without coaching, just having killers spar with.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's what the benefit is. It's like, so maybe you didn't, if I was a fighter at your gym and I didn't get enough time with Hob, but I get to train with your really, super tough guys, I'd evolve just by osmosis of getting my butt kicked and learning to counter that thing the next time it comes from me again, maybe 5 or 10 sparring sessions after getting tired of getting hit or whatever. That's what I see happen.
I witnessed guys in my gym going from getting their butt kicked by somebody to kicking their butt later.
Right.
Because they were there sparring all the time, taking their butt whipping and then coming back and then whipping their butt. Josh Thompson comes to mind specifically on a situation where he was sparring. He just jiu-jitsu. He'd go with our jiu-jitsu coach. And every single time, Josh would go with the jiu-jitsu coach in an MMA, and he'd get submitted, I don't know, originally the first time 2 or 3 times around 2 or 3 times. Submit. One day he got frustrated with me. He goes, man, this sucks. He goes, I'm always getting submitted. I go, okay, yeah, Josh, you are. I go, but you remember when you first started? Yeah. I go, yeah, you got submitted 3 or 4 times around. Now you're getting submitted 3 or 4 times every 3 rounds, with total of 3 rounds, not a round. Every 3 or 4 rounds now, 3 rounds or so, right? I go, eventually you'll come to 1 time, and eventually you can turn the tables. Then it came to this. Then it came to 1 time you get submitted in 3 rounds. Then it came to no submission, zero submission. Then it came to he submitted, the master submitting him.
Right.
Table turned. Why? Evolution. And he kept getting submitted over and over again. One person kept destroying him. That one person kept giving him knowledge.
Yeah.
Give knowledge, learn knowledge. Oh, I got it here. Okay, I got here. Okay. Eventually he kept coming. Eventually he got that person. And that was it.
Well,
And if you stay with it and you focus on it, you will come back. But you have to stick with it. So like that, never give up and step. Don't think about going from A to B to C to D to E to F. Don't think that those principles don't apply to success. They all apply to success. If you go from A to, let's say, you want to skip B, C, D, E, you want to go to A to F. So A is learning the fundamentals, this and that. Then you go F for sparring. Okay. Well, B was learning the right techniques and, let's say, grappling. C was learning the right techniques, let's say, in striking. D was X. E was, game planning, understanding that. F was final product. So if you went from A to F, you screwed up. If you went from A to C to D to E to F, you screwed up because you forgot B. So somebody that plays the game, understands the mentality, understands your weaknesses and your strengths, he goes, hey, this guy's missing B. Attack B.
Yeah.
You lost because you missed the principles, A, B, C, D. You got to be consistent. You got to stay on course to what you're doing. If you don't, you're giving you a recipe for failure. And it's a fact. It's a proven. It's done. And I did it with me, not knowing. Overconfidence. I started my kickboxing career, knocking everybody out. It was all boxing. Didn't respect kickboxing whatsoever. I didn't respect kickboxing. I figured, screw those guys. I just box with them. I box with pro boxers. I'm hanging with those guys. They're beating up most of them, and then I'm hanging with the best of the best. And I'm like thinking, kickboxers are nothing. Nah, whatever. I go and meet this guy named Ian Jacklin. I'm fighting in L.A. Only box. The boxing coach, he said, hey, aren't you kicking? Nah. Didn't lift my legs at all, bro. I was in great boxing shape. Boxing, the rounds, 5 rounds, no problem, easy, because that was my 5-round fight.
Right.
So I go into the fight confident, very confident, because my boxing skills is good. I'm boxing with pro boxers, 10, 12 pro boxing matches, undefeated, some of these guys that I was boxing. And I was giving it as good as I got it, if not giving it to them. So I was like, kickboxer, what's he going to do to me? Well, I go into this kickboxing event. You got to understand, you have to kick. You can't just box. If you don't kick, you lose points. So yeah. I had to kick. Never raising my leg one time. I had to kick. So here I am going into a fight, this boxing, thinking I kicked for so many years. I can kick. Man, I got so tired. I couldn't kick. I could barely kick. This guy kicked the hell out of me.
That is on YouTube, unfortunately.
Yes, I knew he kicked me. He dropped me. I got so mad. I hit the canvas. I got up and I hit him with a pop special, overhand right. I put him up against the ropes. He beat me. He beat me straight up. But, the thing of it is, when the fight was over, I was telling my friends, I go, damn, man. I go, that guy's jab was just in my face. I couldn't do nothing about that. Jack kept jabbing me. They're laughing at me. Not laughing, but they're going, Hub, he wasn't jabbing you. He was side kicking to your face. I go, no, he was jabbing. He goes, no, side kick. I went, son of a gun. I looked at him, go side kick me to my face.
Wow.
Yeah. I learned the lesson of what I'm just saying now. A, B, C, D, E, F. I went from A to F. I didn't do the kicking. I didn't do the conditioning for legs. None of that. Stupid. Right. I don't use that mentality. I always learned that lesson. That was in 1990, I believe, or something like that. I lost that fight. I learned a huge lesson from that. And that's what made me a champion, believe it or not.
Well, losing helps, right? I mean, it's not that you have to lose a lot.
It made me a champion. It made me believe that I could be somebody, but I had to do what? The right steps, man.
What do you think?
Don't talk. Do it. Do the right steps. If you're going to get involved in MMA, don't think I'm a great judo guy and I'm going to just go and do judo and go in MMA. Don't be stupid. Look at Clarissa Shields. Decorated, one of the most decorated boxing girls of all time. Clarissa Shields, you hear interview of talking about, I'm going in and I'm going to prove that a boxer can do this. She's not proving nothing that a boxer can get into MMA. She's been an MMA fighter. She's been trained in MMA. She's not just doing a one-off. She's doing step by step. She's doing the right thing. Don't be surprised that 3, 4, 5, 6 fights from now, everybody's gonna be talking about Clarissa Shields because she's smart. She's smart, but don't be fooled to think she's a boxer. She's not a boxer. You're only a boxer when you only train boxing.
Right.
You're not a boxer anymore when you're doing jiu-jitsu, when you're doing wrestling, when you're doing Muay Thai. You're no longer a boxer. Now you're an MMA fighter.
Well, we saw that in the olden day fights when Randy Couture fought the boxer who came over. I forget which boxer that was, heavyweight.
James Toney.
James Toney just jumped on him, tackled him. It was over. That was
ankle picked him, and it was over.
Done.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. That's the thing. You being the coach, it's like there is a value though, because you can look, you're good for game plan. You've seen so many fights. That's the unique knowledge experience. You can't replace that. Now, you could give someone the great game plan. If they haven't been training right, they can't implement it. So it doesn't matter. But if they're on board with you, then you get that flow. Have you ever, I mean, do you ever feel off going into a fight? Like he's not taking this in. He's not listening to me. I mean,
100%.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. 95% of the time that they're not listening to us coaches, they lose. 95%. Wow. Not always, 5%, they lose.
Sometimes they pull out of Alabama haymaker.
They've done that.
Right?
It can happen. It can happen. But 95% of the time, I might be a little bit lower. But the vast majority of the time, when they don't listen and they're not on the same game plan with the coaches, they'll lose. And the coaches don't feel comfortable with them, they'll lose. And they have. I mean, I've been in many corners where that's happened.
Mm-hmm. And he'll be back after this frozen message.
He was wrong. Hey, look, man, it comes down to this. And if you don't understand this, then you'll never understand MMA. Prepare for a chess game. You're playing against a chess master. You better prepare for that. Because if you don't, then you're just going to go out thinking, I'm just going to do what I normally do. No, I'm sorry. You can go in with your strong moves, but then you got the chess player that already knows how to counter that move that you're so good at. You better understand that, and you better think 3, 4, 5 moves ahead at times. Okay, the Justin Gaethje fight, they didn't mentally prepare. They prepared great. They did, but they didn't prepare for what we prepared, and we knew, and I knew what was up. So what I did with Habib the very first day of camp, I said to Habib, he's coming after your legs, looking at everything, the option, how I would beat you, how I would come at you to beat you. I'm gonna leg kick the crap out of your lower leg, right above your ankle. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna continuously, repeatedly chop at you. And he said, Coach, why you say that? Why you make me think too much? I go, look, I don't want you to think too much, but my job is to tell you it's gonna happen. He's gonna come after your leg. That's the number one way to beat you. In their mind, they may think it's the boxing or preventing the takedown, but no. For me, the number one way to beat you is tear your leg up where you can't do the takedowns, you can't do this. And if you get kicked enough times, trust me, you'll be able to take 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, maybe even more because you're Habib. But there'll be a point where you aren't going to be able to do what you're able to do, you know? And so we worked. And there was a couple times when those leg kicks would have landed, but they didn't because he did enough work to avoid them. He moved his leg out of the way or he lifted his leg. You know, there was 4 different variations we were using. And at the end of the fight, he says to me, Coach, I'm mad at you. I go, why are you mad at me? He goes, why'd you give him the game plan? Why'd you give him the game plan, Coach? You gave him the game plan. I go, yeah, I gave the game. He goes, yeah, Coach, my leg. I go, he go my leg. How he know? He goes, how he know, Coach? I don't know. I'm glad you knew.
Well, the leg kick thing, I'm watching it and other people using it. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the early UFCs when Royce Gracie would be sinking in the darce, and a lot of guys never studied jiu-jitsu, and it was like, uh-oh, it's all over now, and he'd be like slowly moving in. It's like, then, oh, you can't stop it. No one can stop the darce, the choke, you know, the reverse, you know, the choke there. Yeah. So that was the leg kick, and now I'm starting to see people outlast it, find a way to, you know, block it the best way they can, stay out of range. It's kind of a fad. I don't know if it's going to last forever, but it will last
forever because it's an extremely effective technique. It will last forever. but it won't be as effective as it has been. It's less effective now because, hey, look, it's like I said, you learn the chess game, you have a move. That's a killer move. That's a killer move in chess. Well, all these master chess players are learning the counter to that. And if they learn the counter to that, then you can't go to that move all the time because you open yourself up. You understand? And that's what's happening. So yes, that will continually work, but it won't continually work as much because the smart coaches, and there's many of them out there, they're learning to defend it. If you don't learn to defend it, how can you learn to beat it?
Yeah, well, that's the thing right there, because you've got people going for the lower leg kick, and people are starting to see that. They go, okay, I'm gonna figure out a counter. I'm gonna evolve past this situation. And you have people that are just looking at how they can impose their will faster than someone who's trying to put their leg kick out. Like that guy's like, I'm just gonna use the leg kick, but I didn't plan for that guy punching me in the face, jabbing me. Like the last end of the fight there, he got Habib good with that leg kick. And it was at that point when Habib decided to finish the fight. He nailed him with the lower leg kick, if I recall right, at the end.
He did.
And that's exactly.
He nailed him with not one. He nailed him with quite a few.
Hit him like 10 or 12 good leg kicks at least.
I don't remember how many, but he did. And also the one thing I didn't catch this. Habib showed me. Like Habib, we worked a specific drill where you come in your left knee, and he hit him with the left knee right to the boom, and it was so fast. Habib showed me, goes, Coach, did you see this? I looked, I went, no, I didn't see it. He goes, how could you not see it? You were there. I go, man, I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. We worked on front kicks. Shocked Justin, the first front kick he hit him with. But it shocked him. It was like, oh, and it took the wind a little bit out of him. So Justin's a great fighter, one of the great ones. You watch, he's one of the great ones, and he's very intelligent, has a great coach. He'll rebound really strong, smart. Hey, don't be surprised if he's entitled contention again very soon after one fight or two fights. And, don't be surprised about anything. He's freaking good. He's a top guy. Oliveira's too, like you're saying, Connor, Dustin. We'll see. There's a lot of competition there. And 100%, we don't know what's up with Habib. I don't know what's up with Habib, so I don't know. We'll find out, right? We'll find out January 23rd whether there's a new king to be had somewhere or the old king's still there. I'm not going to say shit about it because it's none of my business. I have a job to do, and I have people I have to train, and that's it. And that's all I'm doing.
Well,
I'm not curious about anything else. I'm not curious. Oh, you're going to continue. I'm not curious. Right. All I know is what I always say. Habib, look to the right. Your coach is there with you.
Well, you've got a great platform. You've been here many times. Some coaches have one fighter and then, we don't remember them as much. You do because you're in the business. Maybe the fans don't because that fighter and that coach kind of went off into the atmosphere and he's selling insurance now. You've stayed with the coaching since the beginning, since the early days of the UFC and Pride and all this other stuff. Yeah.
1995.
It's quite a bit of time. That is a long, long run,
When I was involved at that level, all the great coaches were great fighters or fighters.
Right.
They weren't coaches. They were fighting. And Crazy Bob Cook was fighting until 2001 or less than 2001. Crazy Bob Cook was fighting when I was coaching, and now he's a great coach. So there's a lot of people that Andre Pederneiras was a great coach. He was a fighter. So many I can go. Dwayne Ludwig, was a fighter. Not great coach to me. Henry Hooft was a fighter. Not an MMA fighter, but he was a fighter. Duke Rufus was a fighter. Now he's a great coach. So there's so many. Greg Jackson was a fighter, but not a great fighter, but a brilliant mind and a coach. Right. Mike Winklejohn, another great fighter. He was a great fighter, and now he's a great coach. But all these guys were fighting while I was coaching.
Yeah. So you've been through the whole thing. I want to get back to fan questions. That was an excellent rant, very informative for a lot of people that have tuned in today. Let's see. How does Islam match up against McGregor?
Fantastic. Islam's a great striker, great kicker, great defense. incredible. Man, because people forget he's a 2-time Sambo champion. Not that long ago, just 3-4 years ago or 2 years ago, he was the 2-time national Sambo champion. Well, guess what that is? That's a badass on the ground. Yes, and he can take you down. Yes, and he can stand up. He can do it all. Islam can do it all. So he matches up well with anyone. And I predict that when Islam has his opportunity and he's fighting for that strap,
Right.
Huchep, Islam Makhachev, second Dagestan lightweight champion of the UFC.
I can see
Mark
that.
it.
That was
Mark
from Shubham Mishra. So thank you for that. Okay, let's see. This is from N. Kagan. Why do you and Habib think Dustin deserves a title shot? What is it about Dustin that makes him so special, like he is the guy to beat? By the way, I'm not hating on Dustin. I just wanted to know what you guys see in him.
Well, who won a fight after he lost to Habib?
Yeah, it was him.
Yeah, who else?
Well, so did Connor. Yeah.
Connor fought at
Cowboy.
what weight? He
Yeah.
fought at what weight?
170.
170.
Right.
Who he fought? Who? Cowboy. Who was what? Who was on a winning streak?
Nope.
What was Cowboy?
It's like a gatekeeper.
Who-
Cowboy's more of a gatekeeper than a.
Who did Dustin beat? Who did Dustin beat? Dan Hooker.
Yeah.
Who was what? Who was on a freaking tear? Who's a monster of a fighter?
Right.
Okay, that's why. Who else has done that? And the top. Tell me if you can tell me somebody that's more deserving than Dustin, then I want to hear about it. Don't talk about popularity. Popularity is popularity, but as far as earning the right by winning what fights, it's Dustin.
Who took the harder job, the harder road? Who paid the higher price to stay where they are? Is that what you're saying, basically? Right.
Basically,
Yeah.
who in my eyes, who earned it? But listen, at the end of the day, this is sports entertainment. So whoever ever gets put in that situation against the title, because the UFC says dollar signs, people are going to tune in, and in the business eyes, that's who deserves it, because that's going to make the most money. Look, listen, why does Logan Paul, who's 0-2 in boxing, get the privilege of fighting the greatest probably boxer of all time in Floyd Mayweather? Why?
Popularity. That's it.
Eyeballs, buy, ching, 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 ching. No,
Right.
why is Jake Paul able to get on a semi-main event on a great card with Mike Tyson headlines in a semi-main event? Why against a basketball player of all people? Why is Jake Paul there? Why? Does he deserve to be there from an effort, from as far as physical boxing? Fuck no. You don't deserve to be there at all. But don't go telling me he doesn't deserve to be there when he probably himself sold over probably close to 1 million pay-per-views because of that guy fighting. So don't tell me he don't deserve to be there.
Yeah.
He definitely deserves to be there. 100%. So by using that logic, I say Dustin deserves it. But the pay-per-view numbers say Connor, obviously. Right. So obviously, whatever happens, if Connor's the lead dog, hey, I got no beef with that. He's the lead dog. You know,
right.
When I watch it, hell yeah, I watch it. I watch it any day of the week. But he's the lead dog. No, now people sometimes they ask me who is the toughest this, and I say Connor. You know, one thing that no one's ever asked me this one question. Do I like him? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I do not. Do I respect him? Absolutely, I respect him. But do I like him? Absolutely not. Not.
That was a good question.
He touches the areas where you should never touch: family, religion, country, you know, wife.
Yeah.
And he does it on purpose, because he studies the art of war. This man is a mastermind here. I just wish he would use that mastermind for someone else. So I have lost complete respect. I cannot have respect for that. I would never want my kid to be like that. And you can flame me if you want, but there's a place and time for things that cause people bodily harm, real harm, like death and hatred. Those things don't belong on this earth. And for me, when you do that, I'm sorry. I cannot look at you and say, oh, you didn't mean that. You're cool. You just did it for no. You hurt people. You hurt people. And you know what? In my book, that's not okay. I may respect your ability. I may say great things about you as a fighter, but as a person, I can never respect that, ever. Never. Yeah. And I never will. Doesn't mean I hate the person.
Right.
Just don't respect it.
No, I get it. You don't spend a lot of time on hate. You've always been a very...
No, I don't hate anyone.
Yeah, you just stay focused on what you're doing. Here's a question from Abdullah Mazar. Who gave the toughest time in sparring to Habib?
Islam.
I was going to say that too. Islam. It's right. And that's why, and why do you think that you're putting him to be, but why do you think, Habib's even like, this is the guy to take the throne? And why do you say it? Because
Father's plan. Who taught Islam? Father.
Right.
Father's plan. Raised them all. Father's plan. Hey, I'm just the guy that came in after the home was already built with this tremendous foundation.
Right.
I'm not the guy that built that foundation. Father built that foundation. I came in way, way after the fact, and I'm getting more credit than I probably deserve because Father's plan brought these guys to their greatness. I just tell, hey, the window needs a little molding here. Hey, change the color right over here. Do this, do that. But Father deserves the credit for all those guys. And and my mission and my job, when those boys get up there, is they never forget where their roots and who gave them what they have, and his Father.
That's just, you just live in the truth. As long as I've known you, Javier, you live in the truth. You don't mix it up. You don't take credit for something that's got nothing to do with you. You don't worry about that. You're not into it as an ego guy. You're a very humble man. So it is expected that you would do such a thing to give props to the father who did raise them and all that. And, you just try to keep what you learned from being around the dad to keep it on track, I'm sure,
Well, think about this. Think about this, why I think he's such a great man. Okay, in 2015, when Habib was already with me 3 years, his father comes over to the gym. As great as he was, he stayed out of my way. He stayed just observed. I brought him in right into the fold right away. He showed so much respect, so much restraint, so much humbleness in everything he did that not one time did that man ever tell me how to train his son. Not one time did he ever tell me, when's my son doing this? When's my son doing that? Not one time. Never a word. But it was his time to say things and do things. My time to shut up and observe and learn. Right. And him and I never spoke because he's Russian and I'm English, and we couldn't understand what the hell we were talking about. So we understood one thing: heart, and we knew mind, and we both thought alike. We both thought alike, and we knew what we were looking at. And and I knew it too, because Habib would tell me. I would tell Habib something. He goes, yes, coach, I know. Father, tell me. I'm like, oh, cool. So, and Habib told me, his father said, I'm very comfortable with him. I like him. I'm comfortable when you're there. As great as his father was, everything his father could have done, his father could have easily said, you stay here. You're not going. And you know what would have happened? What would have happened? If you know the loyalty, you know how Habib is, he would have stayed because father wanted him to stay, and they would have stayed. And guess what? Habib would have been great anyways.
Right.
He would have been great anyways, with me or without me. He would have been great. But that man allowed him to come, and he accepted me into his camp. We trained together for the Dustin Poirier fight, him and I. And I'll tell you, he was a rock, man. He was a rock. He was solid. He was stern. He was disciplined, and he demanded these guys put in the work. And that was it. If you were out of line, he'd snap on you. He would snap on you. I'm a different type of coach, but he's the type of coach, you get out of line, and boom, snap, crackle, pop. You're getting an earful. You're getting an earful. And he didn't hesitate. And one time I was late, first time ever for me. I got up early, and then I go, I got an hour and a half. I came upstairs and I figured I'll put the alarm on. Man, I woke up and I was 2 minutes late. By the time I got there, I was 5 minutes late. Father looks at me, he's like looking at me, and I just felt like a little person. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I knew, I understood, it's like, hey, it's his domain. When I was at AK and he was at AK, it was mine. And he gave me that respect. I had to do likewise, and I did. And we understood each other. And like I said, I'm talking about it now. I couldn't talk about it before because I'd be crying because just the love and the respect factor that I had for that man. It's unbelievable. I just posted on Instagram, and I wasn't really posting too much because it hurt.
Right,
Even
right.
though it's been a while, it hurt, because I'm Javier Mendez is getting a lot of the praise that belonged to his father,
No.
and so for that, it's sad,
Well,
it's just sad.
I think that the tool, when you look at my observation of Habib, the father built the foundation. Habib's primary winning weapon is the grappling, primary. But your side of it is to build the defense system, to build his stand up, his kicking, his striking, his on the feet work. Because even if you have great grappling, we've seen many hundreds of great grapplers get smoked by someone eventually who figured to have a knee ready or an uppercut ready when somebody came in for a takedown. And so you added to what was already there, which was already amazing. And, he might have been able to do all the way to the top of the same thing. But I think what you added really sharpened it. And the dad saw that. He's like, this is great. He's teaching him this. He already has this. I'm going to let him teach that. And then you weren't going, you know what? Get your son up off the ground. Let's get him to do some more kicks. You never countered, because what works. You were never fighting that. You're a smart man. You didn't go down that path.
No,
There's no ego.
I saw an interview that his father did years ago, and they said, about AKA and what you need for AK. Father says, we have everything we need. If we got to take anything from AK, only one thing we need. He said, Javier Mendez.
Yeah,
That's what he said. That's it. We have everything. We don't need nothing. AK that can't give us nothing we don't already have, but we need Javier Mendez. That's what he said.
I think later in Habib's career, it was helpful to get away from, Dagestan, so he could be away and be semi-anonymous and be able to focus on training. I thought that was an advantage. I mean, you guys have that in Dubai now. So it's kind of like that type of thing, because when you're as famous as Habib, especially in his home country, you get swarmed with people and everybody needs a favor. They need you to come to my birthday, whatever, and he's not a guy that says no to a lot of people. So that can be tough.
And you hit it in the nail, and I'm probably not as sharp as I should have been by stressing that. One of the biggest reasons he comes to San Jose is not because the training's better. No. It's because he can focus on training. He cannot do that at home. He became too famous. So that was a major reason why he'd come to San Jose. Not just because of me. No. He's able to focus and stay on camp, stay on site, no distractions. So that was a biggest advantage for him, is that, not anything else, to be honest with you. I everything like you're saying, but had he had all the peace and quiet and he had no distractions at home, who knows if I would have ever saw him? I might not have. I don't know. I'm not saying yes. I'm not saying no. I'm just saying I don't know. But I do know for a fact that he doesn't get bothered less than 1%. I've been to Dagestan. I get bothered in Dagestan like crazy, and that's me. And that was over a year ago. I was in Dagestan. It's crazy for me. For me, it's crazy. I'm not joking.
You're
I go down there, big celebrity over there. I'm not a big celebrity anywhere else, but in Dagestan I am.
Yeah.
That's
the thing. It's like he comes there. The dad knows that you can continue. You can sharpen some stand-up skills for him, even though he's got stand-up back home. But you can sharpen it with your own special flavor. That you were basically the home for him when he was trying to stay in the States, so he could get more fights and not having to go back and forth. And he was able to get good grappling at your gym, enough to sustain him in several other fights, even though back home he had everything he ever needed. All the Sambo champions, Olympians, just super strong, right?
But also what we had at San Jose that was great, the family bond. Him and Daniel Cormier are such, man, Daniel talks to Habib probably 10 times more than I could ever talk to him, because I don't get the privilege like Daniel gets. Daniel can call Habib almost at will and get the call answered, not me.
Right.
I call Habib 3 days later. Yes, coach. I'm glad I wasn't dying. It's like 3 days later you're calling me, but if it was DC, oh, hey, DC, whatever.
Yeah, it's funny though, because
They have a special bond. They have a special bond.
well,
They do.
that was good for him too, because he has the I can see proof of concept walking in front of me every day. I'm training with a guy that's already in the cage with the belt. Yeah, this guy has a belt. Rockhold had a belt. He had a belt. Kane had a belt. He was around all three belts all the time. So you're training at the belt factory in a way, not the belt factory like martial arts schools, like a taekwondo school. Hey, you're good. You did a kick. Here's a belt. I'm talking
Here's
about
your belt.
the UFC belt, right? So that kind of helps by for psychologically and osmosis. You're not like, it's not such a far off distant thing. You're next to it. That helps you gain that energy,
Yeah.
I believe. So that's
Yeah.
beautiful. And now he's like, here, work with my guys. And how do you feel about Umar coming up on his next fight?
Umar,
Yeah.
great, fantastic. The kid's got his head on his shoulders properly. He trains properly. He eats properly. He acts properly. He does everything proper. He will be a champion also. He will be a champion. Mark my words, I said that. Umar, his cousin, will be a champion. 135. Mark
He'll
my
be
words.
fighting on the Connor card, I think in the undercards, because it's his first fight into the
First
UFC.
Yeah, 12-0 or 13-0. Yeah, he's 12 or 13-0. And his younger brother, Ushman, who I call the finisher, he's 11-0. He signed with Bellator. Expect that Bellator strap to be around his waist soon. Not like right now, but he's making his debut next year sometime with Bellator. He is the most gifted fighter I've ever trained in my whole entire life. The most gifted. And I'm not saying the best fighter. I'm just saying gifted, ability-wise. He's got the best gift by far. I'm going to put out a video. Where I'm talking about him. And I said, I talked to him about that, about you the most gifted. He goes, yeah. And then he goes, huh? What? No, what? He didn't know what I was talking about.
He know what you mean. Yes.
He did. He just go, yes. And I said, yeah, you're the best ever. And he's like, huh? He didn't know. Yeah, I'm gonna post the video. You'll see it on my Instagram. It was funny. I got a kick out of it. I told him I'm gonna post this. He goes, no, coach. I go, I'm posting. I'm coach. I can do what I want. I'm posting your video. So tomorrow I'm posting it.
I saw him do like 35 or 38 pull-ups like it was nothing. I was like, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, 35, 40 something. Yeah. He's pretty amazing.
I was like, after sparring, after working out, after everything, that was just like some leftover in the tank. I'm like, that's never been on that side of things.
No, he's amazing. He's amazing. Like I said, I said the most talented. I'm not saying the best fighter yet, because the mental's got to come and fights got to come. His maturity. He's only 22, but ability wise, got a rock hard chin too. He can do everything.
Wow. We covered most. There's a few questions, but I mean, went on the tangent. But I think you gave so much good material.
Give me the questions.
Yeah, you know what? Okay, fine, sir. Let's see. Okay, Coach Hav. This is from JT Licken. Coach Hav, how would Islam striking match up against McGregor's and Poirier's of the division?
Fantastic. In my opinion, against Poirier, because he's so well versed in everything, he'll do well. Connor's precision striking is really top notch. Man, right there with him. It just depends on who screws up. I give him the edge on Dustin, and with Connor, he's got the overall edge on being good everywhere.
Yeah, he could decide, well, this game plan's not working, I'll switch. Bam. Take him to another world, right?
Watch and see what happens with him. Proof is in the pudding. Watch and see what happens with him. That's all I can say. Watch and see. But I got to be honest, he's unbelievable.
Okay, let's see. This is from AA. Hey, Coach, do you think of close range boxing fighting in MMA? What do you think of close range boxing fighting in MMA? Do you think it's worthless to train in that Tyson-like close distance fighting because you would get a tie clinch or start wrestling? Or is that the part of boxing that can be implemented in MMA?
That's part of boxing that should be implemented in MMA and hasn't, and it should be. It's an incredible tool to use, and actually, I've been trying to work some of my guys to actually try to implement that. It's not easy to do, but it's 100% effective. And like if Mike Tyson, a Mike Tyson type guy with that kind of ferocious power, comes into MMA with those little gloves and he hits you to the body, all it takes is one shot, buddy. You're done. You're done. You ain't getting up for shit. So yes, inside boxing is 100% should be worked on. Hasn't been worked on much, but should be, and it should be mastered. If you master that art, and I've been working on it, haven't mastered it with any of my guys, but we've been working on it. Yes.
Well, I think that's about it. We didn't get a ton of questions. There's more like, great job. I love you, coach. More compliments than anything. I think today was good. We started off, but you went off on a tangent and really shared some gems that we've never even gone into. I'm realizing I'm hearing stuff that you've never expressed before.
We should do this. We should do this. What my son recommended, Jeremy. He said what we should do is we should take fan questions on video, pick out the best ones, put them on video, telling us, and then, then give the explanation. So those that are watching, give us your opinion on what you think on video. Send the video. I don't know, Len, where they send the video.
Well, I'm going to figure that out. Sorry, guys, I don't have a quick solution. I could say email, but then that can get, it's so much.
Why do you have that solution figured out? I went and said something you don't have it figured out?
They could send it to you on your Instagram. Yeah, they could send it to your Instagram on the video, but then I don't have it. So, they could send it.
Fine. They can send to AK Hobb, at AKA Hobb, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch them and forward them all to you, and then you and my son can decide. There you go.
Yeah, go to AKA Hobb at Instagram. That's how we'll get these videos across. We want you, and then there was the other thing that Jeremy came up with, your son who's been giving us advice, which we were like, yeah, we need some new material. So he did a great job with some, suggestions. And one of the ones was to see people sending in their footage, and then you can critique it. You can tell them where they need a little bit of work just for fun. So they get whoever gets picked.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
Couple of quick pointers by Coach Hobb, which is neat.
Yeah. That was I forgot.
I think there's and just opening the floor to you viewers. Give us suggestions on what you'd like to see more of.
Hey,
that's it.
But hey, I'm a striking coach. Okay, don't be sending me any jiu-jitsu because I'll have to have Ron Kessler, my jiu-jitsu expert, explain it. So that's okay. We can have Ron explain those because I'm not the expert on that area. I know what I'm looking at, but I couldn't explain it. So I can just say if you send something in jiu-jitsu format or wrestling format, I can say that's damn good, looks real good, looks good, clean technique, but I couldn't explain to you what you're doing and what you're doing wrong per se. Not really, not because I have the eye, but I don't have the knowledge because I never done it. So you can watch something, but if you've never actually done it, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to explain the fundamentals of the basic grappling, basic jiu-jitsu. Now forget about advanced wrestling, advanced jiu-jitsu.
Well, you could, if somebody has an amateur fight or a sparring round where they were sparring, that might be interesting. Where you could look at that, you could break that down. That's the overall picture.
I can break that. Look, overall, right. I can break it all down. But if you want technique, how to better the technique on the grappling and wrestling part,
you can tell if they need work. Hey, you should work on your
grappling. I can tell definitely if they need work, but I couldn't correct them that much. I'm not the expert there. Stand up, okay? Yeah.
Well, I think that's and somebody else. One more question they asked is would you go on the Bruce Buffer show because they think it's funny? And did you have any interesting questions about Bruce Buffer? He seems to support you and Habib. He likes you guys.
I love Bruce. He's my buddy. Yeah. He has a show.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, he's probably yelling. And next, it's Javier Mendez. Who knows?
I'm gonna say, hey, man.
Yeah,
I didn't know you had.
Go on his podcast show. That's probably right. They just hit him up. He'd probably
say, hey, I didn't know you had a show.
Yeah. Well, there's so many people with shows. You could be like, what? You get 32 episodes?
Hey, listen. I've done podcasts with people that only had 10 views.
Right.
And the person that wanted the podcast, they hit me good, with why they wanted to do things and how they want to get started. And, not that I can do them all, but every so often I'll do a podcast that I don't care. I don't look at the views. I don't look at nothing other than the person that sent it, and if it means something that I can do and I can help, I will. But if it's somebody that is sending me something and they're trying to impress me with how many viewers they got or who they have on, you may or you may not get me. But
that's not really the draw with you. You're more about what's the
no,
subject matter with you.
no,
Right.
it's the subject. The last one I just did, it was because the person that does the podcast, his nephew sent me the email, and and so I did the podcast with him earlier today, and it was awesome. It was awesome.
You've been on a bunch of them, and it's been good.
Oh, yeah,
It's been a good run. But it's to have your own. This is a place where people can reach out to you. We're going to evolve. We've kind of gone at it back and forth. It's been COVID. We've been on different sides of the world. What's funny is we started this. I had Zoom, and the quality of the video was so horrible. All everybody did was attack the quality of the video because Zoom was just coming out. And then what's funny is COVID comes out and everybody uses Zoom. Everybody, even Joe Rogan. He can't help it. He can't get everybody in the studio anymore. So they have to go to Zoom. And I figured, what were they fighting for? You and I never get a chance to sit down and build a studio in AKA with wooden walls and big microphones and velvet curtains and all that, which would have been cool. But you travel the world. There's no other way to do the Javier Mendez podcast, right? I mean, you're traveling. You don't want to. I'm not going to drive. Good.
My buddy Mike Swick's got an unbelievable podcast, the Mike Swick podcast.
Yeah.
He all the guests, and he asks all the right questions. He's unbelievable. He's a great host. And hey man, you guys want another great podcast with celebrity people? Who do we have? Who have we had? Me and you.
Ooh, me and you. I mean, maybe you can bring Manap on in the next few days.
Well, if I bring him on, it'd only be in the condition that he teaches me Spanish and I'll teach him Russian.
Well, that'll be a hit. People have seen him, right? But what people don't know is that you and I do this off the cuff, straight from the hip, guided by a few fan questions, and let it rip. Where some people are very particular, all of them. Some people are very particular. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
My show prep is weak.
Yeah, I've had some people go, "Can we talk so we can talk about the dialogue?" And I'm like, man, I don't have the time to be talking about that. You want to make this perfect. Just if you want me to go on your podcast, just tell me the time. I'll let you know if I can do it. But I can't be, we're gonna have to meet. Can I spend half an hour with you? Those people that have done that to me, I told them I don't have this time. They still insisted that they meet me at least for coffee. Dude, done, finished. Well, it's bad enough. Just meeting you for coffee was you don't understand my schedule. Like, it's like, wow, okay, right. You want me to meet you for coffee, and I'm doing this really in a benefit more for you than me, and you're acting like it's my benefit. I don't really care to do it. Look, right. I'm doing this because I'm doing it for you, and my son wants to be involved. So I'm doing this, and I'm enjoying it for that reason. But I'm not doing this because I want to be in a podcast. But I'm doing it. I share the knowledge that I have, and I'm being truthful about what I say.
You have great knowledge, and that's what I wanted people to see. I mean, I've been your buddy, been in there filming in the gym, and I'm like, you know what, you got something to add here, and you're the last person that had you're too humble. You're not going to go, yeah, you know what I need a podcast. You never did that. You were fighting me tooth and nail, but finally you gave in. I'm like, you need to leave this legacy behind. People need to know the story. One day they're going to want to know what made Habib a great fighter, or Daniel Cormier, or other people, and there's going to be nuggets of information they might not have heard before on a regular television ESPN interview, which is rather commercial, just raw stuff. You leave nuggets of information all over these things,
Yeah.
So it's awesome, man. Hey guys, send us send your video on training or sparring or fan question to AKA JAV on Instagram. That's Javier Mendez. You'll know it's the right one. It's official. He's got 550,000 followers. Just because he likes to post some funny cartoons, and he's got some great pictures on there and stuff like that. But
Rambo.
Yeah, Rambo. The Rambo video is popular. I might have to put that on the channel.
And also too, if you want to know, if you want to get new hairstyles, send the Lynn.
Yeah. I'll help you with the COVID styling tips.
Styling tips, yeah. See my hair.
Oh, there you go.
That covers this.
Thanks for coming on.
I got such a big head. This hat is as large as they come, but look how it looks, so small. And I got a big freaking head, man.
I did too, but I can't fit a hat over this hair. So we're done. It's gonna take over. But
Cut the hair, buddy. Cut the hair. Put the hat on.